What's going on? It's Suk and I'm back with a brand new video on SuperDuprTech. In today's video, I'll be showing you what it's like to play a handful of games on the brand new 2023 15-inch MacBook Air. As always, the spec for the model that I am testing will be left down below in this video's description, and I will soon be uploading a video showcasing the differences in performance between this MacBook Air and other MacBook models. So if you want to be one of the first 5,000 subscribers, then be sure to subscribe clicking the bell icon to be notified of when a new video goes live. But without any further ado, let's hit the titles. So firstly, let's get into talking about which games I played on this MacBook Air. These games were Battlefield 5, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Minecraft, League of Legends, GTA 5, CSGO, Firewatch, Fortnite, and finally Hitman 2. So starting off with this display's native resolution at 2880 by 1864 and keeping the graphics settings to high, we can see the games which performed the best here were Minecraft followed by League of Legends, averaging 86 and 68 frames per second respectively. Fortnite also averaged above 50 frames per second at this resolution, which is certainly something I wasn't expecting. Although the worst performing games were unsurprisingly ran through Windows 11 through Parallels. These games were Battlefield 5 and GTA 5, which averaged single-digit frame rates. Firewatch is a game which hasn't been updated in years, which runs natively on the Mac, and due to this lack of support, it performs very weak. Hitman averaged 14 frames per second in dimly lit scenes, but when the scene had a lot of objects lit, it could average less than half of that 14 frames per second, which also rendered this game quite unplayable at times. I honestly wouldn't recommend playing either of these games at this resolution with these settings, so I therefore lowered the resolution down to 2560 by 1600, which is incidentally the same resolution as the 13-inch MacBook Pro. So by lowering the resolution, we should hopefully see better results. So let's take a look. I lowered to this resolution and well, it didn't really make much of a difference, especially with some titles. Battlefield increased its frame rate up by 1 from 4 to 5, which is incredibly disappointing. Fortnite averaged above 60 frames per second at this resolution, joining League of Legends and Minecraft to max the 60Hz refresh rate of this display. CSGO wasn't far off with 56 frames per second on average, and the other games I wouldn't even bother playing at this resolution as the experience is still quite horrible. Therefore, I lowered the resolution once again to 1920 by 1200, keeping the graphics settings to high. We can see that Battlefield 5 had doubled its average frame rate from 5 frames per second up to 10 frames per second. Minecraft, League of Legends, Fortnite and CSGO, all 4 of those games average above 60 frames per second, which is good to see at this resolution. Although I wouldn't play those games at this lower resolution, as other than less strain or less heat build-up on the system, you don't really get much more on screen. All the other games still average less than 60 frames per second, and while some games like GTA and Tomb Raider were somewhat playable, I would have preferred those higher refresh rates. All the other games still average less than 60 frames per second, and whilst games like GTA and Tomb Raider were somewhat playable, I would have preferred those higher refresh rates at this resolution. Hitman, Shadow of the Tomb Raider and GTA 5 were either close to or within that 30 to 40 frames per second average, which whilst it wasn't great, considering that 2 of these games were being played through Parallels, it wasn't too bad. And I'm sure that had those games been played natively, that they would undoubtedly have performed better had those games been made available to play on macOS. Here's to hoping that the DirectX 12 support announced at WWDC earlier this June helps in the near future when it comes to gaming on macOS. I did want to see how this MacBook Air would perform once the resolution was reduced further, so I reduced it down to 1200 by 800, and keeping these graphic settings to high, we can see that once again these same games averaged above 60 frames per second. That's Minecraft, League of Legends, CSGO and Fortnite, which if I'm being pretty honest, due to the display being able to show a maximum of 60 frames per second or 60Hz, Minecraft, League of Legends and Fortnite I would keep to the resolution at 1920 by 1200. The other games like Firewatch, Hitman, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, GTA and all those, I really wouldn't bother playing on this machine as the experience all around isn't really good. And don't get me started on Battlefield 5 as that game just didn't play well. Perhaps it would have performed better on a MacBook Pro with the M2 Pro or M2 Max chip. Who knows? Well, I've already uploaded videos on those MacBook Pros, so you may want to check them out on screen now, or they'll be linked down below in this video's description. We are still on the road to 5,000 subscribers, so be sure to subscribe to be one of the first 5,000 people to join the channel. And if you have any questions, please hit me up on my social media, links to which can be found down below in the description of this video. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care and have a good one.